does Lotso the bear and Adolf Hitler have in common? Seemingly nothing, right? Well, wrong. Well, they seem nothing alike. They're evil. Lotso attempts to incinerate Woody in Toy Story, and Hitler was responsible for killing over 11 million people deemed ethnically inferior to himself. We may think that we are incapable of doing what people do, but the truth is, humans are complex beings whose innermost self is completely bloodthirsty. If you're honest with yourself, you can see it. Think hard. What are you ashamed of? Now, don't feel alone. Many of our darkest thoughts are exposed in literature by authors all across history. From the Bible to the Bernstein Bears, literature exposes the truth, and it becomes evident that despite differences between races, class, color, creed, human nature dictates that all human beings are evil at their core, and therefore creates societies that perpetuate this evil.
In order to get a better understanding of the evil in people, let's go back to the 1940s. Adolf Hitler, the psychotic tyrant, was once a boy with dreams. He had a passion for art, but his artistic dreams were crushed. He was denied from art school twice. This was a spark that ignited his hate. He began to write a manifesto, Mein Kampf, which outlined his plans for the future of Germany, which demonized Jews, blaming them for World War I, calling them great masters of lies, despite this being completely false. Orchestrating the Holocaust and blitzkrieging through Europe, Hitler is seen as exceptionally evil. That being said, Hitler's ideology wasn't forced on the people of Germany at the start of his reign. German citizens supported Hitler and took part in his acts of anti-Semitism and hate simply because he was solving problems they had while providing a scapegoat for that same problem. Some people believe Hitler was right, and those people continue the hate he started. Fellow citizens turned on each other and ignored the violence that unfolded around them, even as far as disregarding concentration camps around them.
Some people managed to survive these camps. One was Elie Wiesel, who would write a memoir about his experience, entitled Night. Night highlights the evil of humanity through the lens of the Holocaust. Many significant evil moments are present in Night, but the beating of Mrs. Schachner and the death of Ellie's father are the most impactful. The beating of Mrs. Schachner is the first moment where we see the persecuted hurt their own people. Her fellow members of the train car tie her up in hopes of making her stop yelling when she starts to get beat. Other people shouted their approval, even though she received several blows to the head, blows that could have been lethal, in order to make her stop. Most damningly, when Ellie's father dies in the camp, he admits that he felt free at last, as he no longer has to care for his father or worry about him. These moments of cruelty are the results of a society that is molded by evil, where people need to revert back to their human instincts to survive. However, Ellie relays to the reader firsthand that these basic instincts only incline us towards violence and selfishness for our own personal gain.
Night. In the movie Avengers Infinity War, there are also daddy issues. Gamora was taken in by the antagonist Thanos as a child. Thanos is evil, but he loves Gamora. When Thanos seeks the Soul Stone, he must trade a soul of a loved one for the stone. After crying, he says the famous line, "I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again." He then sacrifices Gamora, the one person he loves, in order to achieve his destiny. It may seem he had a purpose for killing, but this isn't love. This is true evil in the human soul.
What happens when there are no adults to create those daddy issues? This question is answered in The Lord of the Flies, in which a society formed by early British schoolboys, who are archetypally seen as innocent, quickly devolves into a murderous hellscape. Over the course of the novel, the school children form a tribe. The tribe splits, and before long, young children have begun to murder each other. The only reason for the boys to be so brutal towards one another is that they were simply naturally inclined to be. They fear a beast on the island, but in reality, the Christ-like figure of Simon points out that the beast is only us. They strip themselves of their civilian clothes in favor of nakedness and war paint to highlight the fact that it is the evil within that is the only evil on the island. The boys metaphorically rape a pig in a bloodlust for power and blood that stem from inside. They murder 3 boys and attempt to kill a 4th. And the evil becomes so apparent that by the end of the novel, Ralph wept for the end of innocence, the darkness in a man's heart, and the fall through the air of the true wise friend called Piggy. And it is forced to confront the evil humanity head on. Huh? The evil repeats itself in Asef in The Kite Runner. Asef's blatant racism and the rape of Hazan during their childhood were completely unprompted by any action from Hazaras or Hazan himself. Amir admits, "I learned an English word for the creature that Asef was, sociopath." While it may seem easy to dismiss Asef's actions as that of a crazy person, this is ludicrous considering that Asef has a militia group under him, and it is scientifically impossible for them to all be sociopaths. Also, Amir admits and highlights the root of evil in humanity by allowing his friend to get raped right in front of him, for his own selfishness, believing that Hassan was the price I had to pay to win Baba. Additionally, when the Taliban takes over Kabul, they change it into a place of chaos for their own enjoyment.
Kabul changed when the Taliban took over. Salem changed when the Crucible intensified. Salem was riven with schisms, and these schisms would be put on display for the town to see during the trials. Yet, when Proctor, alongside Mary Warren, almost exposed the girl's lies to the court, Mary betrays Proctor and slanders him, effectively damning him to hang. If people truly were good, why would Mary Warren lie to the court when in reality Mary lives in the home of John Proctor, meaning she is in no real danger? Proctor was there to try and help his friends. He's argued to be righteous even though he had an affair with Abigail Williams. But would a good man truly have an affair, especially with a minor? A cheating lecher is not a good person, in conjunction with the fact that his mistress literally sends innocent people to their deaths, clearly evil.
Like Proctor, Arnold Frender, Where Are You Going? Where Have You Been? Preys on a minor for devious purposes. Friend, a human manifestation of the devil, kidnaps a 15-year-old girl because she's my date, I'm your lover, honey. Friend even has markings on his car referencing the devil. While some may think Arnold comes off as merely creepy, author Joyce Carol Oates actually wrote this short story based on serial killer Charles Schmidt, yet another example of evil in humanity.
A final, non-literature related point, we'd like to pay our respects to George Floyd and his family. He was an innocent man killed by a police officer under the evil racism. This is, however, a perfect real-world example of evil in the nature of humanity. Mr. Floyd posed no threat to officers, yet was killed, which reflects on the old age evils still in place in our society today.
In conclusion, clearly shown through both literature and modern culture, the core of humanity is evil. No matter the person or place, all human beings are evil at their core, and therefore create societies that perpetuate this evil. Just packing up for the day, long day of essay writing. Oh, yeah, really proud of that. Huh. That's weird. I wonder what this conch is doing over here. Yeah, you don't really find those in the Pacific Islands sometimes. Oh, Zoe! Oh man, I hate Mondays.